Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Zuli Rain and I create videos about how to grow your blogging empire by making a living writing about what you actually love. Today's video is all about how to quickly increase the quality of your writing. We're going to talk about 5 super easy steps to implement. I'm going to walk you through an example with my article. So these 5 tips come from a guy called Josh Spector. He writes, I love what he writes. I'm gonna link his newsletter in the description because if you like this video, you'll probably like what he has to say. This is not sponsored. I just love what he does. So check him out if you're interested. All right, let's go through. He wrote this article 5 years ago and it is still so relevant today, and that just proves the power of his writing. These are his 5 rules. I agree with most of them. I think I disagree with some, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let's go through. I'll show you the article that I'm going to use as an example, and I'll walk through every single one of his rules with an example, and I'll tell you when it makes sense, when it doesn't make sense, and we can go from there and let me know what you think. So his step number 1, delete the word that. I think if you can delete the word that from your sentence and it still makes sense, you absolutely should do that. So let's do that. Let's look through and find, I have 16 that's. Now Josh says you can easily remove up to 90%. I think my estimate is probably going to be something closer to 50%, but we'll see. So I've got 16 to start with. So I can definitely remove it there. It still makes sense. Yeah, there it doesn't make sense if I remove it. Okay, so I originally had 16 and now I have 7. Yeah, so about 50% of my that's I could remove and the sentence still makes sense. I think 90 is a high estimate, but go through your own. If you can remove it and the sentence is still legible and readable, go ahead and take that out. Number 2, remove the words I think. I was doing this actually before I even read his article because the fact is I'm a blogger who gives people a lot of advice. If I only think something, if I'm not 100% sure, I shouldn't be writing it. So every time I write I think, I go through a kind of decision tree. Is it that I genuinely only think it? If so, I should remove the whole sentence. I shouldn't be, telling people stuff that I'm not 100% sure about. If I am 100% sure about it, then I need to remove the I think. If I'm confident, why wouldn't I want to say the full strength of what I have to say? So I already do my best to remove my I thinks, and yeah, this one doesn't have one, which is great news for me. Rule number 3, avoid words that end in ing. Right, so this one's a tough one for me. I love ings. His example here is, he says, the experiences we're seeking end up being overwhelming and even disappointing. So he shortens that. It becomes the experiences we seek often underwhelm and disappoint. There's no doubt that is a stronger sentence, but often my examples are not as obvious as that. So let's go ahead. Let's look for all the INGs in this article. There are 26. Like here, oops, I don't want to do that. I don't think it makes sense to remove ing. Nor here, because I'm referring to a tense. I don't think there's any way I could remove that and punch up the sentence. I could change it to if I continue to grow, but I don't think that makes it a stronger sentence. That kind of does punch it up a little. That's a noun, so it's gonna stay. That's a ridiculous, meaningless. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay, so there I had 26. I'm down to, 20. A lot of those were nouns though, so a lot of times it did make sense to remove the word that had ing, and it actually did punch up the sentence, or it allowed me to remove a clause that punched up the sentence, but I don't think it's as often as Josh might see himself. So number 4 is probably the one I disagree with the most. He says, short sentences, short paragraphs. Most sentences can be cut in half. Don't be afraid to have a 2 or 3 word sentence. Keep paragraphs to less than 3 sentences. White space is your reader's friend. I feel like this kind of shows its age a little bit. I know that was all the rage 2, 3, 5 years ago. Nowadays, I'm seeing more writers trust their readers that they can have longer paragraphs, and it still makes sense. It adds to the story. They know they're not going to lose their readers because they have gasp 4 sentences in a paragraph. So let's go through here. So here I broke his rule in the very first paragraph. I have 4 sentences here. I'm not going to change that. Well, maybe I could. Okay, this actually, I am kind of already following his advice. Here's somewhere where I am taking his advice, and it kind of makes it choppy. I feel like that's kind of changed the style. Here's a good example of a long sentence that I could break up, but I'm choosing not to. I've made this sentence long on purpose. The idea I'm trying to convey is that I sell a lot through one channel. And it's not just that the words are going into it, it's the format of the sentence. It's a long sentence. It's all conveyed inside a single sort of vehicle, the sentence, all these different ideas. If I were to chop that up, it would kind of detract from my main idea, which is like, look at all this stuff I can do on YouTube. I can sell coaching packages, editing packages, mailing list signups, my own course, yada, yada, yada. All of that just through one thing. And if I chop that up, it would kind of lose the meaning of it. So we're going to keep it like that. Yeah, so there I have chopped up some of my sentences. I'm not 100% convinced that it's increased the quality of my work. That'll be up to you to decide. And number 1, shrink your opening sentence. This is the one that I've probably thought about the most since I read this a couple years ago. Make it compelling, but keep it short and conversational. Example, this is a post that's going to help you become a better writer. Becomes, I can help you. So let's look. This is actually not a great starting sentence. I'm considered a fairly decent success story on YouTube. So what would he say? So what is this? It has to be compelling, short, and conversational. YouTubers aren't realizing their full income potential. That's short, it's punchy, it tells what the story is about. And I think that actually does improve my story considerably because people are going to realize, my target audience here is YouTubers who are currently only making ad revenue and probably could be making more. And hopefully they'd read that first sentence and be like, I need to read more to find out how I can improve this. So I think that this is actually a better article than it was before I started this. Go through these steps. I would say follow these blindly, literally, when you're first starting out. As you continue, you'll start getting a sense for where you can kind of ignore these in favor of your own voice, or where you can kind of stretch them, where it makes sense to soften them, where you don't necessarily want super punchy writing. But if you're a beginner writer, those 5 rules will probably be super helpful for you. They will really help you improve the quality of your articles in, 5 minutes or so. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I answer my comments every single Monday, so pop them in the comment box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more videos about how to grow your blogging empire. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day.